Hi guys, welcome back. We are here to do the Aquarian update for September. Better late than never, but I'm here. So we're about to tune into the energy of what's going on with you guys. Now, a couple of messages were coming through, and that is that you're on the fence about something. You're on the fence about how to look and perceive something. You're trying to express yourself, and you've got two throat chakra cards come up. Now, I have picked a gem for healing for this month, and it's that of a chakra as well as something that we're going to need to be using moving through September, and that's amethyst. It's for us to actually see the bigger reason why these things are happening. A lot of with the astrology at the moment, it's very much linking all the way back to 2014. It's really pulling us forward to a point where by the end of the year, both Saturn and Pluto are going to have an interesting conversational piece to shift and change this dynamic completely. Now, your crowning energy is self-expression, okay? You could be vocalizing, and it's interesting in the way it's coming through. Now, I'm going to pull a clarifier, and I know I left my deck when I did readings. Hyla. There's something going on with you guys at the moment, and you could be seeing signs and synchronicities, but very separately, you're moving through an energy where you're trying to resolve a wound. Okay? Hi, guys. Now, with this wound, an elephant totem come up last month, and it was in general, and I mentioned it in the TF reads, but this is separate. This is the general energy of what's coming through. Now, there's two things coming through. Overcoming obstacles, but your communication, what you say versus what you do is going to count. You need to journal, I feel, okay? Because how you are is being semi-distorted at the moment. Your tribe is around you, but potentially you may not be seeing it. Now, it's interesting because when you research elephants, they're very tribe-orientated. They're very nurturing, they're very loving, they're very protective. This is your nature to the core, but this is connected to people around you. But on the flip side, yes, there are energies in the world that aren't like that, okay? And, you know, somebody mentioned elephants and what their demeanor is. And I went through videos, and because, look, in society we have feminine and masculine. We've got male and female energies, and we take on various roles in life. And there's a story connected to this of the reason I'm expressing it, because it's something directly connected to you. What we've experienced doesn't necessarily mean what others have experienced in tribe mentality. So you're looking at the correlation between it of what you have versus what others have. And it's taking you to see both sides of the fence. Now you're on the fence again. You need to understand, you need to let something go because it's evolving and it's changing, okay? You may have had a situation, and look, the Pisces moon for you is affecting your second house, but I'm getting a few messages very separate to that. This could be bringing up a lot of things of what you have versus what you don't in a tribe, in a family, what you had before versus what you have now, and where it's taking you. This is to do with your professional resources, you know, your possessions, your land, your material value, which is very much that of which is outside of ourselves. But again, with the elephant totem, it could be the foundation. It can also be making sure you understand the essential need for the foundation to be correct. And assessing situations and relationships, yours versus another's may be more balanced. And in an assessment state, you're coming from one perspective, they're coming from another. And it's not that one's right or wrong. Just an aspect of a foundation is being rectified. And then both of you can be free. Family-related dynamics as well can be coming up, where you're physically talking about things, bouncing off each other, seeing people's perspectives, but trying to find at the root cause of what that inner wound is. Now, the reason I'm feeling inner wound is when it comes to the external versus the internal, you know, You're going through a spiritual transformation. Now, in 2018, don't quote me, but I'm fairly sure there was a lot of Pisces energy. Potentially, it could have been the energy of Chiron. Now, we were really digging deep, okay? We were digging deep. We were looking at those wounds, and they were very, very deep. Again, when you do look at an astrology wheel, Pisces on the wheel is the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is to do with your subconscious mind, okay? Your intuition, your crown chakra, what you're sensing and feeling and trusting in that. So really delving deep. You're delving deep into your mind, okay? But what was anchored in potentially is going to aid you moving forward. Hi, Dale. The freedom is within the clarity of it, but it's also detaching and trusting the process, but not just looking outside of yourself, really needing to go inside, right? There's a deep wound that's going on. It can be your frustration of the inability to move forward towards something. Some of you might be struggling with your possessions, your land, your professional resources. With Saturn going direct by the 18th, that's going to help you. But there is a separate energy going on with that. I do think you've been meditating on scenarios in your life. And it's been a bit of a journey for you guys. It's like, okay, it's like the table's turned and you're seeing another person's perspective. You're not seeing the freedom in this, but moving through that energy is part of the journey so that you can have the freedom to proceed forward. I'm seeing a bag on the horse, and there is purity and clarity. So, yeah, it's you're preparing to move in a particular direction. You're trusting your intuition. You are feeling a certain way. The ebbs and flows of your energy is going from high to low, but you're moving back up there again, and then you're coming back down again. You're finding a unique voice inside yourself, and there can be some frustrations you're dealing with. It's really unique. You know, it might be a trigger point of someone you haven't talked to in a while, and you're thinking back to that. Or things that you haven't said and they're now coming up and out. Because you've got self-expression and then you've got conversations in reverse. And it's the freedom of speech without the information becoming distorted. And it can be to do with what you had versus what you don't now. And preparing for what you want in the future. It's becoming quite bothersome for you, but you're holding the cart and you're moving forward. I do feel you're going to have the tools to move forward because you've got two horses. Okay, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. But once the foundation's balanced, I feel things will move. But you need to trust in that process. Right now, it may be you're not trusting it. It can be due to the burdens you've carried for a long time. It's when you look at these cards, look at how the horses are faced. They're faced in two separate directions. But they're both you. Which means you're reflecting back because, yes, this card to you is facing one way, but when it's like this, it's looking in the past, okay? And then the other horse is moving forward. So by looking back over what you learnt, you're able to then move forward towards those hopes and dreams that you wish to attain. It's a pause in the journey. Now, again, it will be with a family domain, a tribe domain. It can be linking in with your work and the way you're providing for yourself. There is a thing you're meditating on, and I do feel this is going to be through to the Libran moon, okay? And it's very quiet. It's not wanting to, how do I put it? It's lulled. It seems semi-depressed. But at the same time, it's in a resolved state where you're understanding, like you're trying to pull the pieces of the puzzle together so you can take with you everything forward. But you're very fatigued, you're very burdened. This can be at a spiritual, emotional, or 3D physical level. Now, once you move into the energy, hi Dale, of the Libran moon, It falls in your 9th house, and this is your religion, your education, foreign countries, and travel. Again, I'm feeling external things going on and not having the energy to do as much as you wanted to, but a balance being needed to come about. Now, it is going to be a supermoon, and it is a new moon energy, which means a new beginning and detachment of an old way of seeing things, being, and believing. Now, it will correlate around the time of Saturn direct, okay? So with that, I'm feeling it's going to push you forward into a new way of seeing things. There's too many things around you in your mind that have become cluttered, that need to be detached from. It can be not being able to achieve certain targets and errands and cleaning, and a lot really on your plate that is now starting to pile up like a haystack. It could just be an emotional state. You've got frog in reverse. Clear out the clutter. It's like it's reached a point where there's an overload of information coming to you, where the things you've learnt, you may be moving in a different direction, where you're looking at distant places and the hopes and dreams you wanted, and it's really clashing with something else that's going on with your life. And the Libran moon is going to be about balance, but new ways to achieve that. So it can bring about problems of that time, but then it's going to bring about solutions because Saturn's pushing us forward. Now, yes, next month, and it's giving you a fine window there, because between the 18th and the 2nd, we'll have Saturn going direct. We'll then have on the 2nd of October, Pluto going direct. So it's really rushing forward towards Pluto to say what has to come to an end in this scenario. We've gained the clarity. We need to move this person forward. What do we need to end or have a shake up in that area to see whether it can be resurrected and changed? Now, your clarification card is Peace Pipe. There's a distortion in frequencies around you that is causing problems. Now, communication in reverse. It's nothing you've spoken about. It could be connected to a person you haven't spoken to. And it's bringing about this shake up and change. Now, I'm going to pull a clarifier on it. It's for your betterment, okay? You've got falseness in reverse. The truth is going to be coming out, and it might leave you speechless. It might leave you to a point where, you know, and it will be undeniable between the 18th and the 2nd, the situations that need to shift. So even if you wanted to hold all of those things up in the air, I feel as though it's going to come to a piece where the lack of peace and serenity in the environment will need to have that shake up so that it can physically evolve and change, because the truth is coming out. Okay, you've got falseness in reverse, so the truth is going to come to the forefront of an imbalance. Again, I'm going to pull another chakra card because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a different area that this is directly relating to. And yes, it is to do with your beliefs, your religion, your education, your foreign countries and travel, but it's going to also impact you in other areas. Okay, this is very general. Unless you've got your chart done, you'd have to look at the degree point. This is more a reading to give you a base. I knew it was going to come up. Base chakra. That's why I pulled another card. I was like the foundation, because it was coming through, you know, with the tribe mentality with the elephant. So I knew it was like the foundation of a situation. Really getting to a point where no action and remaining the same with situations, with your hopes, your dreams, you know, your upskilling, your movement in your life, your belief systems evolving, connections going to the next level. The action is in reverse, and this is why the truth is coming to you. And with Saturn and Pluto, by October, I feel there's going to be a shift in that energy. But you're going to start seeing the pressure in those areas for it to change, to bring the balance back, because it's preventing the movement forward. But you need to visually sense them, see them, feel them, especially in a tribe mentality, be it at work, in a relationship, with a connection. be it a soulmate, TF, whatever this is, there is an imbalance in a situation that is coming to a point of change. Now, when I pulled the cards for your career, finances, and things you're working on, there was the one card that bounced out. I knew automatically what this is about. Your mind, and again, it's purple, and this has been coming through absolutely a lot, especially the psychic card and the love readings, and it's come up in yours too. The crown chakra of where we're feeling, sensing how things should be isn't matching the 3D of what's happening directly in front of us. It's not to say it's not shifting though. You've been watering a garden in your thoughts. You've got to be careful what you're watering. You need to shift your energy. Some of you might be in hermit mode. Some of you may be doing a similar thing. To have 5 minutes away to be able to actually receive your downloads. When I say your downloads, hear your own personal thoughts. It's really going to help you. Look at the way she's watering. Now, the first message that came through, it wasn't even about the energy of what was, said on the card. The first thing that was coming through, look at the light shining on her face. But she's missing the point. She's watering something. And it's not that what she's watering is bad. Yet yes, I'm seeing that. It's been this repetitive thought process that has been going on. It could be a nagging situation that's been playing out in your mind. You're trying to shift your energy, but you've been watering the same thing. And it's become frustrating for you because you feel somehow, are you being silly? It's so small. Why am I making a big deal about this? Why does this keep coming up? You might be trying to hide a feeling, or a feeling is being hidden from you. You're also getting hunches. And again, there is blue coming through on the card, which again is communication. I feel with your journaling, it's going to really help you understand what's going on. There's more than meets the eye here, but you need to get to the root cause of what's going on. And it's not that it's not to do with an external situation, but your belief system and something that you're replaying is buried deep, okay? So I feel in journaling, you're going to find that. Finding it is the key. And again, it's asking you to spend time in Mother Nature. You need to go outside. Your next card you have is visualizing abundance in all forms. Again, some of you are investing in things that you don't feel. It's a bit like, when you get a taste for a food, but it's not in the cupboard or the pantry, and you go to the next option. Once you've reached a point of knowing what you like, no other food will taste good because you know what you want, okay? Some of you potentially don't know what you want, and that could be the root cause. But you've been focusing on another thing and not what it is really that you are wanting. I feel due to that, there's a pause on that in the first 2 weeks moving into the Libra moon. Once you realize what it is actually you're wanting and what you're willing to put your energy into, at the moment your frequency it's not depleted. It's just lackluster. Going with flow, doing what you need to do. There is a situation there that is going to shift. Some of you have had too much responsibility on you from childhood, okay? And again, I'm seeing family, tribe situations going on. Now, with this finances, you may feel you're being, you might have helped someone who you loved. You also might have got to a point where you were focusing on money and now there needs to be a spiritual connection to it. But unless you know what is abundant, you're not going to move towards it. So there's a distortion in what you feel is worth investing in. Your money is returning, okay? So if you've been putting energy into something and you're feeling tired, pause, have a break, With the planets going direct, I feel that's going to come back to you. That of what you sowed during the 5-month retrograde. As long as you've been putting your love into it and you love what you're doing, you're going to get the best out of it. If you don't, I feel you guys are going to shift. This could be in employment. This could be doing things that are more in alignment with you. You will be protected for that transition. And you usually find when you're going through transitional states, it is divinely guided and you are protected, but you're super concerned during that process. You're not, how do I put it? You're seeing things that aren't working. That's causing concern. You're a bit worried and you don't love that process. But these things, these polarities need to be shown to you to give you the assessment by the Libra moon. You're wondering if it's going to all come together. This could be a business venture you're directly working on. You're just wondering how it's all going to come together. I do feel there's been a shake-up through different things in little ways. And I am seeing travel, but the travel is later. It's a potential plan. Okay. Now you've got severe... as long as you're passionate, the message coming through, no one can take your art away from you. So if you're working in a business, you're developing it, you're moving into it, I feel whatever you're nurturing in a sense of a baby is coming to life. It's coming to a point where it's growing and maturing. As long as you do the fine tuning like an instrument, I'm feeling that whatever you put your energy into, you're going to get a bountiful return. But it's not only going to be at a financial level, it will be at a, how do I put it? It's like pride. It's like, wow, I didn't think I could achieve that. That's really how it's feeling. Again, a lot of nagging concerns, but I'm hearing that there was something that you knew you were going to have to do, okay? And it's a hard call. So whatever this hard call is, I feel you're... So weird. Okay, for those of you that are single, you might have been delaying building this career. This is a separate message. And I'm seeing wings and flying because you're concerned about things you're leaving behind or a spiritual energy of what you're leaving behind, right? You want to do it, but you don't know if it's okay. But it's more a belief system inside yourself. I feel you're gonna move. So some of you are physically getting to a point. Your energy is shifting, your mind is shifting, and you're taking that leap. And I do feel there will be movement from that point forward. You're also going to change the way you're eating. Some of you may have been, like I said, very off your food. Again, you're clearing your chakras and your energy field, and it is for a reason. And this is happening quite a bit with a lot of us at the moment. What we vibrationally feel and attract is because we're going to need that as a tool energetically in our system to move forward. Definitely keep your fluids up, especially with the Pisces energy for the next 2 to 3 weeks, because it is crown chakra activation. And, you know, to keep that balance, we need fluids, but we also need to keep our base chakra balance, which is red food groups. So with all of these shifts going on for your zodiac sign, I feel, you know, especially at home, and I pulled a separate card for home. You've got cooperation instead of contemplation. It's in reverse. There could be 3 energies that have been, and this could be 3 energies external to home, nagging at you, or it could be 3 ways this could go. But I do feel there is a dynamic shifting, and you feel your world's changing. It can feel very full of anxious energy, but at the same time, it's because you're evolving, but you're almost not giving yourself permission for that to happen. There could be some resistance or guilt, or just that it feels very unnatural. You know, at a very slight level, it could feel just very unnatural. But these shifts are for the betterment, and they are going to cause things to come about in a balanced sense. But there is going to be a balance more coming on the home front in the next few weeks. And I feel it's from the Libra moon moving forward. Now, your romance house of what's coming through, your crowning energy. Again, you could be thinking, okay, maybe I did this, maybe they did that. You're seeing the truth, okay? You know it takes two to tango, right? But you could be seeing it in your own energy, like maybe I shouldn't have done something. Maybe I should have looked at something differently. With the Virgo energy that we had coming through, it was quite sharp 3D communication. But at the heart of the matter, you know, you want a connection that works. Both of you have great love inside your hearts, a lot to give. You do have someone in your heart, though, that you really care about. Or this is what you're attempting to attract. It's what you feel you deserve and you want. Now, in your headspace, you're wondering if you've done something wrong, or, you know, did you say something wrong? Is there miscommunication here? Have I seen this scenario wrong? Am I looking at... And I feel you're really micromanaging the way you're looking at things and connections in general. Something external is going to create a bit more balance, okay? But, you know, by looking outside and reflecting back, in your mind, when you're reflecting back, I feel you're gaining peace from the past. And that's what's opening up this situation. You know, trying to gain perspective, trying to comprehend and understand. Some of you are looking backwards and wanting it to come forwards, but you're gaining perspective in the meantime. But there's something, you know, where you're reflecting. You do want this energy with the connection to move forward, but you're feeling there's always a delay. There's something coming at you, you know? You know, am I making the right decision? Should I say this? Should I do that? But again, it could be just the direct scenario, but there's a delay for some reason, and this is in your mind. This could be you putting a pause on to assess situations because there's lots going on around you. Now, your counterpart energy, they feel that in their mind, the way they're looking at things is there was an imbalance again in the foundation. There may have been more power on one side of the fence than the other, which we deem that as not love, but it's not to say it's not. When we're triggered, we can operate that way. But reflecting back, they know they had wanted this to go the distance. They want this to go the distance. This is the intent. They also could be looking at, you know, for those that are going through separations, this could be them looking at it at a different angle now and seeing the truth of the matter. Something's changing, and again, I do feel this change is coming by the moon. So I feel a lot of meditation coming through with you guys. Both of you guys are meditating on how you feel. I also see there might have been a conversation for those of you in communication or in a relationship that might have stirred some memories. Now, this could be good or bad, but it's taken you into your mind. It's taken you into that place where you're thinking. You're asking the universe for help, and it might be where you're really tapping into it. And both of you are doing the same thing. Both of you have the same colors coming through. You know, Aquarians, you are utilizing your crown chakra. You're sensing things and you're hoping. You know, you're asking for protection, but you're trusting in the process of how it's going. You know, this person who you're in love with, they're also gaining great clarity, but they're trying to get grounded. They're seeing perspectives and they're trying to shift their energy. And at the heart of it, I do feel there's going to be an honest conversation between both parties. And again, as I mentioned, the psychic card's been coming up in all the readings, and I've never had that happen. I feel the energy of your love interest, again, is realizing where power comes from. Intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. Now, this falls on the psychic card, okay? Again, I did say with the Pisces moon, this is their heart space, and this is really weird. It's been coming up quite a bit. What an interesting card to have in the heart space. Now, they may feel you're deeply intuitive. They may feel that you tune into them very, very, like X-ray vision, okay? But at the same time, it might be something you said would happen and something you hoped. They're tuning into it of how you saw and perceived a situation. So it can potentially be where they're seeing what you were meaning and they're grasping the concept. But they're also healing relationships with feminine energies, belief systems. This is regardless of whether the cross-watcher is female or male. There is a healing energy with their intuition, with their feelings, with their emotions. When it comes to you, I feel they've had a tower moment in their life. Something has shifted to a point where, you know, in their heart, they know what it is. They've learned a karmic lesson. They're now dealing with their life. A potential tower moment has occurred. And they're realizing that they need to get their shit together in some shape or form. Something's shifting in order for that balance to come back. So the shake-up of whatever has occurred, I do feel either it's already happened or it's occurring around the Libran moon. This could be causing around that time that this is coming through for you guys by mid-month, a bit of trigger points. But whatever these trigger points are in these emotions, you could be tapping into their energy, okay? Now, with these energies of what's coming through in your mind, understand you're not replaceable, okay? And it's weird the way I get my messages. I feel, for those of you that are single, you may feel, if you're tuning into a person who's with somebody else at the moment, that they've replaced you. They haven't replaced you. They're going through a healing state. It's a bit like a Band-Aid being placed on, and I do know quite a few Aquarians, okay? So look at the card that's come up as the clarification energy. Now, what I'm seeing is a foundational related issue, base chakra, coming up where you're in a way feeling, was this my fault? And even if you guys are together, you know, it's the balancing of situations going on with the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, our family, our tribe, our connections, our work, where we're seeing all these new ways of putting these puzzles together. And what's coming through is in a belief system energetically. You know, if you're feeling semi out of alignment, you may be taking on this role where you're evolving and you're moving out of this like a rebirth. It's to do with the fact that if someone's projecting at you, it's not about you. It's something going on in them. So if a statement's being made, the reason communication has come up in reverse is because not all the time do words and actions match of the reason why things happen. And I'm seeing for some of you, there's this Band-Aid that was put on a situation. Potentially you or them are looking at it like, oh, they've chosen their road. It's not. The foundation is not correct yet, and it's being balanced. So for those of you who that resonates with, I feel, you know, a judgment is coming, okay? So if you're looking back at them and you're wondering, are they going to make up their mind? I feel yes, they are. But it's not about you. So the more you detach and shift your energy onto you and your healing, it's balancing the foundation out. I'm going to... Where's my deck? Bear with me, there it is. So how are we all in the house? I have one more to do, Pisces. So delayed this month. I have been noticing that a lot lately. Us readers have been chasing our tails of late. Why are we attracting other people? In what way? The funny thing is, and it depends on the perspective you're coming from. Are you coming from a spiritual point of view? Are you coming from a TF point of view? Always, the more into your spirituality you are, you need to check in with yourself each day. Anyone can attract anything at a higher frequency or a lower. And this is what I mean with the laws of attraction. So if suddenly you're attracting people, it's your vibration shifted to a point where the universe A is trying to show you something, but it's whether you wish to take it. Now, we can knowingly take a connection, right? But if you are not in alignment with not where you can't think about that person anymore, you're actually willingly going into a connection knowing you're still tuning into TF. And if you still are tuning into TF, it becomes problematic because it's like having a ghost in the bed with you. If you can vibrationally come to a point where you're having a relationship with yourself, okay, you need to get to a space where you are having a relationship with yourself to a point you realize you don't need anything, anyone, which we don't, but we don't also want to be alone forever either. At the end stage of the journey, which I will be doing a twin flame update when, I'm not chasing my tail, it will probably be within the next, tonight potentially, or tomorrow morning. There comes a point where you will attract another TF, but it's not your TF. And that's generally at the end of the journey, before reunion/union. And it depends on what you want to do. Sometimes it's because your vibration is raising and you're healing. Other times it's because you literally, in a belief system, believe this person's not returning. But detachment for reunion is absolute key. And it's almost like you're trying to look at your puzzle and you're going back in your mind if you're healing and you're going, have I detached? Have a what does that look like? How does that feel? Regress back to, and it depends for you and your journey, how many times you've had the reunion, separation, runner chaser mode. You do tend to find any time you're detached, it's balanced. It's because of lack of expectation. You're focusing back on yourself. If you are attracting things, it could be to do with something that you need to integrate in yourself in a sense of, if you've created a benchmark of, hey, I'm worth something, then suddenly people vibrationally similar to that will come to you so that you can alchemize that inside yourself. But you can do that separately without a person. So it depends on how you want to go about it. But I'd have to tune into your situation. The self-esteem is raising though. So how could the DM be in a relationship with someone and not be able to express his feelings? I tried to explain it to my daughter the other day. When you're connected to a person, and this is TF or no TF, okay? When you're connected to a person, the reality is if your foundation's not correct, you're having a relationship with faulty towers, right? Because it's going to come falling down. So energetically, they are in alignment because they're going, look, I know I've got a lot of crap going on. So then the separation occurs, but you're holding on like, no, we can fix it. We can work together as a team. It's all going to be okay. If spiritually blockages occur in a male or a female, even if you believe you can, it's not part of your road. It's not, your road is your healing. Their road, it's like we need to stay in our own lanes, right? So they'll end up in a karmic relationship, and so too will you. A karmic relationship is where the pain body experiences so much, we put the Band-Aid on, we don't know we're doing this. And we feel suddenly, if we separate from TF, that's it, we're going to have a normal life. You're a T-bloody-F. No, that's not so. You will get your lessons from other people as well, because, if you're a spiritual being going through an awakening, regardless of if you want to put a label on it, you're going to keep growing. Certain vibrations won't grow at that level. You will grow very quickly. The closer to reunion, union you get, the harder the lessons come. So the quicker you move through those shifts, the better. So that Band-Aid is theoretically a temporary solution. They know that this person will not be there forever. They also know this person doesn't want anything with them. And how do I put it? There's no expectation. And if it fails, it's a controlled environment. Does that make sense? It's like a false shit. It's a controlled environment. It is what it is. I hadn't really invested anyway. But with you, it's very different because they know that's the end goal. But while you're both not in alignment and you've got your own path moving, it's a potential hazard. So you'll both go toppling down, okay? So, you know, while you're shifting your energy onto TF, it becomes problematic. And I have to check myself all the time. I'm like, all Yildiz, back here, okay? Focus on your lane. Hi, love. So the more, and that's with anyone, okay? If we're focusing too much on another person to fill our cup's going to be empty because we're going to give our cup and then some. In theory, it's like we look at it as a bank balance. You need to look at yourself as the bank balance, okay? That if you're investing in something, is it growing or is the bank going bankrupt? If it's going bankrupt, you're living on borrowed time with the scenario. If it's meant to be for you, it will always come back. But we hold on too tightly, you know, because we're like, oh, Houston, we've got a problem, you know, it's falling down. The more we hold on too tightly, we're suffocating the growth of the situation. So it's like they say, if you have a bird in the hand, it's worth two in the bush. If we don't value that, we then learn a lesson, don't we? Let it go. Or it's taken from us. The art of appreciation and spiritual growth. I hope that makes sense. Some of you that are going through an awakening that are Aquarius, what's coming through is it's like you don't even want to focus on it. You're like, this is all too much. Done a lot of work. You're overwhelmed, okay? Now, every card here is in reverse. So it's not that it's not so. It's more that it is, you push the pause button because it's got a little bit too much. So yes, you are a light worker. Some of these blockages, you're like, I've done a lot of work on them. Is this work ever going to be over? It's going to become easier, but it doesn't help when the astrology is retrograde. Yes, this is past life related, but it's a pause for an adjustment on both sides of the fence. And with this connection, so in general, you know, you guys are very tired. This is regardless of whether you're a soulmate, you know, in your romance house, you want to shift some things around. Some of you are going to be moving house. Some of you have the concern due to location for some reason. I'm saying location being a drama. But again, it's a belief system. When we're tuning into it, we're directly, that belief system, okay. It's amusing because it's right there, but I need to explain it correctly to you. Complaining about complaining came up, okay? No more complaining. And this has been coming up a lot this month, but it's in reverse. It's like you don't even know what to bloody say anymore. When you've been tuning into, I'm here, they're there, or I want to build this, you know, this massive foundation and I want this massive business, but you're thinking 2-3D. I'd need to do X, Y, and Z. And you've been saying that for a whole year. I need to do X, Y, and Z. The goal is there, right? The goal's there. But in the meantime, you've been talking about it, but you're like, yeah. And look, if you're wanting to manifest something, talking about it and looking 2-3D is problematic. Taking one step at a time is still taking you closer to your goal. It's a bit like saying you want to lose weight. And I went through this over the years. It was like I was talking about talking but making no action. And it was like, this is interesting. We focus on time and it becomes problematic. The ego and time don't mesh. Movement happens faster when you don't tune into time. The outcome, how it will feel, not even knowing how long that's going to take, what it's going to look like, whether you have any setbacks, you know how the vibration of the outcome is going to be. It's that is alchemization, because you're tuning into the outcome without the ego telling you, which is self-sabotage. Yeah, but we'd need to move this, this, and this for that to occur, and it's impossible. I can't find a way. You walk towards it with trusting the process. The solutions come. Does that make sense? You're not trusting the process right now. You're tired. So right now, the reason Mother Nature has come up is you need to anchor your energy in. We have crown chakra activation with Pisces being the 12th house. Drink fluid. Get your foundation grounded. A lot of us energetically are going to have more energy, but we're too scared to apply it into anything because we are probably potentially petrified of Saturn and Pluto, or making a wrong decision because we don't want more karma. We also don't want more drama and more ascension symptoms and more changes and left field balls coming at us. I get it, okay? It's temporary. Adjust, get grounded. Things are moving. It's always darkest before the dawn, okay? You're just not seeing that yet. There you go. But trust the process. You know, sometimes we can think, oh, you know, well, am I moving in the right direction? Will this affect my romance? Will this affect this and that? Well, you know, if I change my number, you know, will it affect X, Y, and Z? No. What's always meant to be yours will always come to you. It's 2-3 day. Any questions while I clean up my mess? But yes, distortion at the moment is there, but it's more, you're in your third eye, okay? You've got your clarity. You're just a bit, you're thinking too much on a same thing. And with that, you're missing other things going on around at the moment. There's too much going on. It is slowing down though. I'm getting ready to move to a new place. There you go. There's movement. You could have dynamics with children coming up as well, with education, because your 9th house is activated by the Libra and Moon. So looking at schools, looking at education systems and things to that degree. Your land and your location's changing. Your assets are changing. Yes, they do. Every human being has feelings. If we detach from our feelings, it's because we had a real shitty pain body experience. And that's not that they're not human. That's where they were conditioned to get there. I don't know why I have so many Aquarians around me, but trust me, I have a lot of Aquarians around me. It's like Aquarians. Love and light Aquarius. My mother's a cusp between Aquarius and Pisces. Any questions? If you are wanting a booking, I can separately, away from the astrology, tune into you as an energy and psychically give you a reading. I have been psychic for, since I was 9. Any questions? Well, I didn't really want to do tarot. It was really interesting. I mean, I had a psychic channel on Facebook for about 3 years. I've been psychic since I was a child, and I've been developing it. And I was giving free readings away for 3 years, and it was getting to the point, it was 100 a day. And one lady came through, and I was like, there's too much information coming, because I can actually tune into your word. I can tune into a picture. And I was just developing it over the years. You know, people would leave their coffee cups at my house. My father's Turkish, and I started reading cups when I was 10. And I wasn't trained to read cups, but I started seeing things in front of me like a projector. And all these lovely Turkish ladies were coming to me for readings. They're like, oh, give her the cup, give her the cup. And I was like, God, I can't even get out of this room without drinking a coffee, or which I'm actually drinking coffee now, Turkish coffee. And then from there, I was working in nursing for years, and I would have the nurses and family members running out to my car, chasing me after my shift. So I've had to shift the way I do my job, or my gift rather, over the years, I did a video and found I had to create a channel, and from there I had to upload the video, and then I shared it, and then my girlfriend was like, you have to do readings on YouTube. I was nursing, I wasn't doing this. And yes, I do see death. So, I see your loved ones that are passed over. But doing this, I was like, how do you tap into a zodiac sign or tarot? I mean, you could give me a tarot deck and something will bounce out to me. I'm not a tarot reader. I'm moving into understanding tarot more over the years, but I'm a psychic. So when I'm talking to you, the first thing that comes to mind will come. And the person that trained me to develop my gift further said to me, it doesn't have to make sense to you. So it could be a sentence, a statement, it could be a smell of food, and you could feel a vibration. And sometimes it would be very amusing. Sometimes it was very distorted. I mean, I've gone to locations where I've said to my sister-in-law years ago, she's passed away now, I went, what on earth happened at that park? And she'd look at me like, don't you know? And she goes, what do you feel? And I sensed what had happened to a child at that park, and it was actually quite horrendous. So it's developed over the years, but then to build on the energy, when you're tapping into it, I've got used to it now. So it's different for me now than it was when I first started, but yeah. I find that the link between tarot and astrology and our energies is quite unique, that they are interlinked. Our chakra system is similar to astrology when you look at chakras and planets, and the way it affects us is similar. And because I am psychic and, through my awakening process, I notice shifts vibrationally. If I tune into you, I have to close my crown off, because I then physically own your vibration and continue that on. So when you're tuning into a person, you have to be very careful. And it's a way you can develop your gift more. If you're in a room, if you're the type that pays attention to the vibe, you're an empath, right? And then you get to a point where it affects your vibration. You're like, I don't know what that is, but I'm not liking that vibe. I can't be around that vibe. You'll also come to a place where you'll be thinking about someone and you will vibrate at their frequency. So if they're nasty, you'll start vibrating that way, and that might not be your natural demeanor, and you'll find it very ironic. You need to pay attention to these things, because thinking of someone through the third eye, which is an egoic experience, but your crown, you're tuning into it, you're giving your energy over to that location. So you're transferring energy from one location to another, which is technically teleportation. But you're still here in the 3D, but you've moved up into the ethers, you've tapped into theirs, right? When you're there, once you stop thinking about them, you're over here, but you're in two places simultaneously, but your energy now is heavier, because if you don't clear it, you're now vibrating at their level and you're carrying their burdens and you're vibrating their frequency. So you must get to a point that when you're tuning into someone, especially if they're lower frequency or you're overwhelmed and your chakras are down, your energy's down, tune out, breathe your energy back in like you're breathing your soul back into you. And you got to go, breathe it into your solar plexus, right? And then you need to shift your focus and focus on something very heavily for 10 minutes, 10 seconds, whatever it is. And then go get a smudge stick and clear your chakra off, because you're open to that energy and anything else that's around you. And yes, you can bring energies home, okay? So if you find your house is an icky vibration, it's built up too much negative frequency, clear it out, okay? Yeah, that's where I was getting to, and it was interesting. The funny thing is, when I transitioned, it was into this. When was it? And they say that a lot of the astrology is connecting now in with 2014. And I was trying to do the check back with it this morning. And I was like, what was happening? And I was ready to move into management with that. Managing staff, training staff, moving into an office position, and managing clientele in community. But the reality was where I was, I had a young daughter, and I take my job very seriously. I'm a very responsible person, and I was like weighing up the pros and cons, and I just went, I can't while I have responsibilities. And it's similar because similar situations are happening now. So we're trying to find the balance in life at the moment. Any other questions before I tie it up? Any other questions? But yes, I am trying to, yeah, it's like we're doing spiritual work, which look, nursing, occupational therapy, psychology, all of those things are empathic related. And regardless of what you do, it could have been food related services. It's still a transfer of energy and frequency. You know, you'd be really surprised how a lot of us were already doing spiritual work, but we were none the wiser of it. Spooky. There you go. Yeah, I've had to wash bodies before and prepare the family and do the counselling services. And yes, funny, I used to play in graveyards when I was a child. No wonder I was going to be bloody psychic. They'd follow me home. Eighth house. Yeah, I don't know how we got into this subject matter. Maybe Aquarians are going to be nurses. Who knows? Who knows? Could be the energy of what's coming through at the moment that you're realising how much you've actually helped and nursed and cared for people, and you're wanting a bit of that back. Self-care time, papes. Self-care. Okay, I'm going to have a quick break and I shall come back. I would ask the dead people how they died. Oh, they'd follow me home to give me a conversation, to give them messages for their family. It was like, really? Pisces. If TF doesn't kill me. I'm going to have a quick break and I'll be back. And first house is activated for Pisces, so you guys are going to be on fire. You're going to be all up there in your crown. You're going to, you're going to know exactly what's going on before of us. You're just going to be up there. Yep. You are changing, Pisces. First house of self, especially when it is theoretically the 12th house of the subconscious mind. I don't even want to look where Pisces placement is for me. I don't know. I forgot a Pisces placement. I don't know. Love and light, if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link below. For those of you who do comment, I really do read them and I appreciate them. And it does help the information get to other people. And hopefully this month I might give a freebie away where I answer questions and answer, give a freebie away. If I don't go batshit crazy in the meantime with the astrology. Love and light, I'll see you all. Thanks, tribe. And those of you who are new. And thank you for liking the video because it's the only thing that shares it in YouTube. Thank you, YouTube.